Good morning, story fiends. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today we're going to be doing a reading from A Doll's Life, my novella, available now from Falstaff Books. First, the back cover copy. First, Alicia lost him. Then she saved him. Sort of. Now can Alicia save both of them when it comes down to a game of magical cat and mouse in a world where everyone has been turned into living wooden dolls? Glance, master magician, knows something Alicia needs to finish saving her brother from death, but Glance is not going to give up the information willingly. Good thing getting things no one wants to give up is kind of what Alicia does. If she's good, and a little lucky, she'll leave with her own life and that of her brother. If she's not, she may be in for a doll's life. A Doll's Life, available today from Amazon.com through Falstaff Books. A Doll's Life, a Broken Cities novella by Elidria Hurt. This book is dedicated to those who have stood around me and kept me standing. A Doll's Life, Chapter 1. Alicia sprinted the last few yards to the gate, her breath burning. They couldn't survive here, and there was nothing worth taking. Granted, they hadn't stuck around long enough to find much, just long enough to realize they needed to go back the way they came, regardless of the consequences. The consequences in question? Possible death. With the landscape out to get them? Certain death. Alicia had come far too far to allow some strange hill or weird tree to be the reason she missed supper. Her pack slammed against her back. Thankfully, it was thick enough that the spine of the attacking tree didn't do the same. She cursed under her breath and scrambled forward. Hadn't she heard something about a place like this in a tavern somewhere? Maybe she had. Whatever. The story meant little when considering how not to end up dead. When she reached the edge of the gate, she offered it platitudes of an overabundant nature. Anything to get the thing to open and let her out of the horrid, hume-eating land she found herself in. She'd have been better off taking her chances in the megacity of Concarnac. The gate opened, and she made it through just before the spine-wielding tree could throw another volley. The stench on the far side could have knocked her over with a feather. But at least she appeared to be on a standard stone street of some kind, in a place that looked remarkably like a city she had seen before. Of course, no gate was required to let you out where you wanted to go. They weren't even required to open. They only did so when it pleased them to do so, or you did something really mean to them. If one traveled a gate frequently enough, then one could learn the things that made it happy, or sad, or willing, or unwilling. The willing part was all Alicia cared about. Willing to help could go a long way in a labyrinth with a habit of eating people who passed through. Doffing her pack, she examined it. The bone tree spine had gone clear through, but stopped short of doing more than nicking her shirt. Good luck. It ruined her rations, but didn't destroy the pack. Good luck. It went straight through the bladder of lip-key water she'd made for magic, so the water leaked into the pack. Bad luck. 2 goods, 1 really big bad. She would never find water so pure again, especially not in a place smelling like the inside of a baking sewer in a world where diarrhea was common. Nevertheless, she needed to talk to her brother about their next move. Her last ration was worthless, and the lip-key water they needed was draining away. Cradling a vial out of her shirt pocket near her heart, she pulled the stopper and took a very, very small sip. Her brother's presence appeared in her vision. Madrick, the water's almost gone. I see, he said, though his mouth didn't move. Where are we? I don't know yet. Just got here. The last place tried to eat me, though it might be good to beat a hasty retreat. Oh, sorry about that. Not your fault. New gate, new world. You know this. I know this. We're in this together. He faded with every word. She had seconds left. Or she could drink a little more of the water surrounding the pearl housing her brother's soul. It would let her communicate with him more, but with the Lipke water gone, he'd disappear. She'd lose him forever. Make for Con Karnak? He asked. I don't know. Maybe. I'll try. Then Alicia sat in the dank, cold, quiet alley by herself. She coughed, struggling to clear her throat of the stench before crawling bodily up the wall next to the gate. Wherever she happened to be, she needed rations, and that meant stealing something. Jobs tied you down. Stealing sets you free. The family motto. She tucked Madrick away and shouldered her wet pack. The thing trickled water down her back as she hunted for a market square where she could hopefully make off with food, or something to sell for food. Her stomach rumbled. Communing with Madrick always left her hungry. His strength came from her. Within a few moments, he could eat through her energy reserves. Sighing, she rounded a corner and almost confronted a group of guards. They appeared to be very interested in hunting someone, as they didn't even notice her. However, knowing that guardsmen could smell thieves, she headed in the opposite direction. No need to get into trouble unless it was profitable trouble. Profit, in this case, meaning edible. Priorities. In her head, she had created a layout of the city based on other places she had been. The plastic lowlands built in levels, though no one yet took the where do you live caste system quite so far as they did. Travelers automatically made level 3, which meant she could move level to level and trade, or not, as she saw fit, and could run from pursuit easily. With some idea of how the city might be laid out, she strode toward the city center. She hoped she wouldn't get unlucky and end up visiting the local insane asylum by heading toward the city center. A lot of places had their markets in the city center. Uterin showed off its disturbed people by putting them in a multi-level tower and televising their every move. Uterin faded to a distant memory as she greeted a market square full of gray banners and awnings without any of the loud, brash hawking she was used to. Come to think of it, other than her own voice, what had she heard the entire time she'd been there? Nothing. No one spoke. Her footsteps sounded muffled against the stone. After the first couple of adventures, one rarely asked, "What kind of world is this?" and just got down to the business of figuring out how to get what they wanted. Alicia had been to enough places she immediately started watching how others behaved and set about mimicking them. No one spoke. Their lips didn't move. Instead, they pointed and pantomimed as though speech hadn't been invented yet. After a few minutes, she walked up to the first shopkeeper and made the sign she was confident was eat, or food, one or the other. Either one would get her what she wanted, something to put in her mouth that approximated food. Portable? All the better. The odor made her eyes water, and she wanted more than anything. Well, not more than Lipke water, but more than anything besides Lipke water, to get off this literally stinking planet. What her gesturing got her was some kind of tart with several small fish embedded in it. Alicia sniffed it. Palatable. Then again, hunger made a lot of things bearable. The shopkeep looked as if she'd just taken a piss from the pulpit in the middle of an Eldoran worship service when she made no effort to pay for it, only examining it as something odd and out of place. With an abrupt about-face, she walked away, leaving him to do whatever people did here when someone stole from them. As she moved, stuffing as much of the tart as she could in her mouth, others pointed at her, but did nothing to stop her. Alicia, for her part, continued through the city like a local. Her mode of dress didn't stand out overmuch, allowing her to blend in. Magic always said, "Look like you belong. People will assume you do." Therefore, she kept her head up and moved with a sense of purpose. Her purpose? More food, preferably of the traveling kind, and maybe a bed for sleeping. The muffled world worked on her nerves, plucking them with a maestro's ease. She found nothing that looked like lodgings for travelers, as if there weren't any who came through. They had a gate, though. Therefore, travelers. And travelers must sleep somewhere. A Doll's Life, available from Falstaff Books.